Hi there, welcome back to Not Another Budget. I'm Nicole, and on this channel I'm attempting to cash budget my way out of debt, fix several years of financial misbehaviour, and bring a bit of smoothness back to my financial and personal life after a period of disruption. For anyone who's new around these parts, I am a first year teacher having retrained after a decade spent in a previous industry, and I have a little bit of debt. I live in rural England, which brings its own challenges to budgeting and life sometimes, and I am the only person in my household, and therefore I'm the only person who is able to and responsible for tackling the financial situation that I am in. Due to a little bit of illness, well, quite a serious illness, I was off work completely for 3 months on half pay, and then I was on phased return for 7 weeks, where I also received a reduced pay in that time as well. So it has been since the end of January up until the end of June. That is how long it has taken for my income to go back to normal, and whilst I didn't increase my debt in that time, sadly it meant that all other savings activities, all debt payoff activities had to stop and had to pause while I worked to make up the shortfall in my income, which was about an average of £500 each month that I was down. Now, as a result of that time, one of the things that went on hold was me pulling together an emergency fund, and I would say that I'm definitely someone who starts to get money saved and put together, and then there will be an emergency or an issue that stops that in its tracks, and it has to be used, and then you go through the process of building it back up again, and then it gets used. So I've never felt like I've been able to really truly build that proper cash in hand, cash stuffed emergency fund, and it's something that I wanted to make a priority focus of for the first quarter of this year, running January, February and March, and obviously that had to be stopped. And as a result of that, I don't feel like it would be sensible for me to start paying on my debt until I have a small emergency fund behind me. I'm starting off with a £500 emergency fund, and I feel like if I can get to that point, because I have a lot of smaller debts as well, then actually I feel like there is a tiny bit of a cushion there, where if there is an issue, I can draw on something, and I can then look and go, well, I've got, 3 or 4 debts that are between £100 and £200. Maybe I start chunking those. And I'm not quite sure what order and in what way I'm going to tackle my debt yet, because I really wanted to go, right, I'm back to normal, kind of. How do I go about building this emergency fund? So one thing I was able to do, due to the generosity of my subscribers and viewers over the April-May period, was I was able to carry into May a £600 rollover, and I had £600 extra on my wages, which was a fantastic achievement, and just truly grateful, because it made the world of difference, and again gave me, in a sense, an artificial emergency fund. And I did have to use some of it due to some car troubles in the beginning of June, but actually I've been able to keep hold of it throughout June, where my income was also reduced. And I thought to myself, if I can keep hold of it, I'm going to kickstart my emergency fund. And that was definitely a sentiment which was echoed by many of you, viewers and commenters and subscribers. And when I was able to get to a cash point, I said earlier this week that I would get that rollover out. And I've also withdrawn some money from some Vinted sales, and that is something which I'm actively trying to get built up and going again as well, because I pretty much was able to make it through this period of financial instability and loss of income by just selling and destashing on Vinted and Facebook Marketplace, with a little bit of car booting tied in. The sad part is, if I think that is about £2,000 that I have found away from the generosity of any subscribers or donators, that's £2,000 that could have been an emergency fund, or it could have gone towards my debt. So these things are meant to try us, and I do believe that there are times when we are tested by whichever creator, universe, God, whatever, and it has definitely been that time, and it's been the first half of the year. But let's now finally start to cash stuff for an emergency fund. Now, I went through and sorted out my binders, and you can normally see these when I do a larger one, but I'm just trying to see if I've got an envelope for an emergency fund. It's not that one. Oh, wait, hang on. It's all breaking and falling apart. No, that's a school envelope. Okay. No. Okay, I'm going to put it in the rainy day fund. It's not where it is meant to go. I will have a envelope ready for an emergency fund next time I come to do a cash stuffing, but I'm going to pop it in the rainy day fund envelope as well. And I do also have a some coins in there, so I do need to be using the zipper envelopes as well to start with. So we're going to come back to that in a minute. What I have here is I have £228, which is the rollover. I have £45 from Vinted, which is including the pound coins. And then I also have the accumulation of just random change from my purse because I've gone and done a food shop, I've filled up with petrol, etc. So I've accumulated some change that I've just dumped in there. So I know what I have in notes. I don't know what I have fully in coins. There's two savings challenges that I'm going to be using. One of them is my own design, which is this one here, which is the Floral Save 500 fund, and each flower is worth £10. And then this is an early days Rainbow Budgets challenge, and I recommend her channel and her Etsy store, and my own Etsy store is linked down below. It's the Save 1 to 100 savings challenge times 3, so you end up with 151.50. At this point in time, I am not cash stuffing or saving for any other challenges or any other things. It is purely going to be emergency fund throughout the course of July, and I will then see where we get to. I have still got about £80 worth of pending Vinted sales as well. There is obviously some money that I need to keep in my budget going forward, but I'm going to, where possible, where I've got a good amount built up on Vinted, I'm going to try and put that out to cash stuff towards it. I certainly know that I can pull in the numbers because I have pulled in the numbers before, and over a 2-week period in April I pulled in about £1,000 worth of extra income, and that was a mammoth marathon monster of a task, all of the M words, and yeah, I would say it definitely burnt me out. So I don't want to try and go like that because we know what happens. And whilst things are taking a bit of a positive turn at the minute, certainly from a mental health perspective, it's still a bit pants, but I am trying to find the positive wins and look for those kind of lighter moments where I can, and this is definitely one. So we're going to do the cash stuffing first with the actual cash and coin counting, and then we are going to put whatever change is left onto the 1 to 100 challenge. So I'm going to hit 500. I'm going to see when I hit 500 saved, and then I'm going to reassess the situation. And I may then push it to 600. I may then push it to 750. But about £1,000 is a good-ish, like, baby emergency fund. But I know in the UK we do things slightly differently, and the £1,000 is definitely a Dave Ramsey legacy. All I would say, as a single person household, my emergencies and indeed my lack of my income shortfall has been more than £1,000, so that is something that I do need to bear in mind. But let's get a count going and see where I end up to. So I have 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100. 20, 40, 60, 80. No. 20, 40, 50, 60, 70. Always 20, 40, 50, 60, 70. I can't count today. Yes, I can. 70, 80, 90, 100. For perspective, this brain scatteredness is because we have 2 weeks left of school, and I'm a design and technology teacher working in a secondary 11 to 16 setting in a poor rural school, and I've had back-to-back practical this week, so every lesson I'm teaching is practical, which means that my brain capacity needs to function at a greater ability than it currently is now, so that no kids lop off any fingers or toes or anything else in between. I'd be tired. But 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 200. So therefore 200 so far. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 5. So 255 in notes, and then in coins. Did I go around changing things down? Yes, I did. It was a good idea at the time. Right, in £2 coins, I have 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I have 18. £2 in 50p's. £1 in 20p's. There's another 50p there. Right. £3 in £1 in mixed silver. Okay. Coppers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10p. 20p. 30p. 40. 50. 60. 70. Are you a pound coin? Yep, okay. 70. 5. 70, 80. 5, okay. Okay, so I have here £277.85 to put into my emergency fund. Well over halfway. Well, not quite well over halfway. We are over halfway. And one thing which is making a return from 2 years ago, one of you lovely lot recently-ish said, do you still have the Percy Big money tin, which I got for Christmas? I think my first Christmas on this channel. Yes, I do. So guess what is going to be used to contain all of the coins for the emergency fund? Because who doesn't love Percy the Pig money box? Weird people. So first of all, I'm going to just get them all in there. And then I think in terms of how I'm going to split this, I think the 270 is going to go on to this savings challenge. The £7.85 is going to go on to the 1 to 100 change challenge. But if you're a headphones user, I would just, yeah, sorry. and one thing I need to do as well before I do anything with the cash is update. So my rollover was 228. The small change was £4.85, which can be other. And then Vinted I'll leave clear for now, but what I will do is just put emergency fund 1, and we'll do 27785, and then if I do a second cash stuffing I'll do number 2, emergency fund. Vinted, I've still got some money to clear in, so if I don't withdraw that, well, it'll go in the budget only if I withdraw it from my Vinted account. I need to work out what I'm doing with that, but that's that done just very quickly. Now we can, right, let's get the cash out of the way in a way. So 270 is 27. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see, some of us need a visual, and not everyone does. I get that. Some of us need to be able to visually see, like, oh, we're halfway done. Yeah, I don't quite know how I feel about this. Good feelings, but it's a little bit like, yeah, me hanging on to cash is not an easy thing to do because of like the curse of being a solo person household means that you are responsible for pretty much everything, and therefore trying to hang on to stuff and have that extra left. Like, I have thought many times it would be so, my money would go so much further if I was splitting bills with someone. That isn't an option. Unfortunately, my house, although it is a 2-bedroom, it is a more like a 1.5 bedroom and doesn't accommodate a second person. So there we go. The cash is in there. It is in the rainy day fund, which is not the emergency fund envelope. I may just choose to keep this going. This is my binder for, I would say, like bigger ticket things that you don't want to immediately reach for. They're not long-term sinking funds. They are, oh damn, the cat needs a heart scan at £665, or I need new tyres for the car, which is something I really need to look at soon, or I might switch to annual insurance rather than monthly insurance, or I might try and save for a new car. Not that any of this is going to happen. I've obviously got the rainy day fund, but then I might want to build up a buffer in my bank account of, say, I don't know, £500, for example. All of this is just pie in the sky numbers which I'm making up. And then again, I could choose to save like a year's worth of bills and then get myself a year ahead there, which I know Abundant Budgets does. Another fantastic channel that you guys need to go check out. If I can remember to put these recommendations in the description, I will. But we have that. So that is now going to go away. And Percy, can I seal? Have I got tape up here? I do. Do I have washi tape up here? Washi's not going to work. It's not thick enough. Okay, hang on. I know it's not like the most effective seal in the world, but it's more the act of sealing. So Percy is going to sit up there, okay? This is going to sit here, and now I have 785 to do, and I tend to go largest to smallest on challenges like this, mainly because it's one of those things where you can get this through the small numbers really quickly, but then the larger ones seem to drag. Whereas I find if I work on the large ones first, yes, it's slow going to start with, but then I can really quickly chop stuff off, which is not a bad thing. So the idea is I've definitely done the 1 to 100 a couple of times before, but just by itself. I've not done it. I've not fully completed this challenge. So if I can do that, and I know it's a little thing, but I'm looking for little kind of life affirming happy wins right now. So it's that kind of time. Just, yeah, just that kind of time. So 0.96. So yeah, the £7.85 to go into a, I think it saves £50.50. I think these do. £7.95 is a good, you know, just under X% of that, more than 10%. But when you're chunking down the larger numbers first, it does a. Oh, I've done the thing. See, I am amazed that I've made it through today. We're all so brain fried. It's yeah. Okay, minus 0.95. And then we'll do the 13. Where are you? Up here. So in terms of what ends up getting cash stuff next, it may not be that I have any more change for a while, but certainly when I've got a kind of a pot from Vinted to withdraw, I will withdraw that pot and withdraw the cash, work out what needs to stay in my budget and work out what doesn't, and then I will go ahead and do another cash stuffing. So I can't guarantee that there's going to be a cash stuffing weekly. I've certainly got a lot on Vinted that I want to try and get done this weekend. And I do also have at the minute physical savings challenges and in terms of bundles, and I have digital savings challenges. Most of my range is available on Etsy at the minute as well. So if anyone fancies any of my stuff, please head on down to the links and have a nosy. Please also go over to the channels that I have mentioned, Rainbow Budgets and Abundant Budgets. They're pretty special channels, and would appreciate a follow, I think. I am therefore now going to go love you and leave you, because I have got some personal stuff I just need to kind of calls and things that I need to just check in on and do. But I will see you tomorrow with another video, and I hope you have a fantastic budgeting week wherever you are in the world. Bye bye for now.